Sorry, I am late with this review. My previous parts got such small amount of views, so I wasn't motivated to do it. In the first parts I reviewed all imaginable sites could be involved in the poisoning, and the Navalny FSB call. But actually, my guess is Navalny wasn't poisoned at all. And I'll show you a number of arguments. First, our source will be the Lancet article. They did nice graphics which should convince us with official poisoning version. I'm not a specialist to doubt that work, but one specialist doubted. It's the Lancet article review by Vitaly Kozak. I hope Google Translate did a proper job to translate it. You can see it right now. Basically, Kozak's point is that the Lancet by some reason missed symptoms which contradict the official version. They didn't mention them, using only symptoms which fit the version they want to prove. The second source is OMS Doctors Consilium. So, Consilium conclusion is that Navalny demonstrated next organophosphorus compound poisoning signs. Meiosis, cyalorrhea, sweating, hypertonia. So, at this point of the text, yes, he had signs of Novichok poisoning. But Navalny also showed a typical sign, ketoacidosis. He also didn't show other organophosphorus compound poisoning signs. No diarrhea, no vomiting, no bronchospasm, no bronchiorrhea. So, in summary, Consilium declared that all the science in summary is more consistent with a carbohydrate metabolism problem. Next source is Leonid Ring, a Kremlin agent of course, as all we who dare to doubt. Leonid Ring, one of the poison creators, also confirmed that Novichok poisoning should show seizure, diarrhea and vomiting. You could say it's not a source, but I'll show you some phases which are inspires confidence.
Готовы ли вы были бы к публичной дискуссии с коллегами, которые утверждают, что нашли следы отравляющих веществ?
Легко, без проблем. Задавлю как тараканов.
Omsk main toxicologist Alexander Sabaev is our next source.
Но это все на фоне хронического панкреатита.
Безусловно, поджелудочная железа, ее функция страдала. Видно было и по лабораторным тестам фермент амилазурия, диастазурия. То есть те патологические, тот симптомокомплекс, который характеризует функцию поджелудочной железы, он был смещен в сторону патологических изменений. От этого уйти невозможно, это очевидный факт. Да, мы подозревали отравление, мы смотрели весь спектр анализов, который может свидетельствовать об химическом воздействии. Ведь не только химико-токсикологическое исследование говорит нам о токсикантах, но и реакцию организма на токсикант. Мы смотрели реакцию почек, печени и легких, те органы, которые первые реагируют на токсикант. Но на протяжении всего времени пребывания ни один из этих маркеров, этих органов не был изменен. Все функции органов, отвечающих за детоксикацию, во-первых, органы работали, во-вторых, не было повреждений этих органов, что не характерно для химической болезни. Химическая болезнь в первую очередь поражает органы, которые будут утилизировать этот химикат. Из всех органов, которые у нас был пострадавший, это была поджелудочная железа. Вот она давала анализы, измененные анализы, которые свидетельствовали о поражении поджелудочной железы.
Next reason to question is Navalny quick recovery, unexpectedly for alleged Novichok poisoning. Both Ring and toxicologists stated that Navalny recovery doesn't fit the poison version.
Восстановление, как правило, особенно после фатальных ядов, тяжелых ядов, а подозревались яды тяжелые, истинные ксенобиотики, то есть чужеродные вещества, восстановление идет крайне медленно, крайне долго и, в общем-то говоря, не всегда. Как правило, это инвалидизирующие повреждения, которые, ну, в общем-то говоря, даже в течение полугода, года не восстанавливаются.
The next point is Pentagon intelligence report. It says that Novichok is resistant to treatment the same as Soman. Of course, it's not direct evidence. Soman and Novichok may act differently. This leads us to the next research. Soman treatment experiment with mice. Even in small dosage, the poison leaves visible fold disorder after 3 months of cutting-edge treatment. I recall Navalny made his first interview after 20 days. It's not a proof, but it's something to think about. Next, OPVCW report, which complicates things even more. According to the report, it wasn't the same poison found in Salisbury. It just has similar structural characteristics. And it's a substance that wasn't included in the annex before. Hard to say what does it mean. Somebody jury-rigged something similar, or it's a bloody Kremlin improved the poison. Doesn't seem it helped. Or maybe it's a substance made to be harmless and Navalny really was poisoned with it. Bunch of question marks. One of my guesses is there was no poison used, and the tracks were added after hospitalization. It seems that it's easy to add Novichok tracks wherever you want, because one of the common Novichok form is binary. Each of the compound is safe. You might not even notice that you have the tracks on you. Maybe it's an answer to a PVCW report. They found only one compound. In the first part we proved that Novichok already been sold on the black market in the past. So a lot of people could have a vial of poison from 90s. So who is likely behind all this? I'm inclined to think in 3 directions. First, Khodorkovsky and other businessmen and politicians, who was expelled after Putin got power. The main link to this guys is this woman, Maria Pevchikh. A woman who flew from Britain to Russia for a day, spent a night with Navalny and then disappeared. Only one person who avoided police questioning. A person who appeared right before the flight to Berlin and the only one who was allowed to fly with Navalny. Beautiful young woman, without a page in social media. Highly secretive person. And a woman who may not even know that she brings the poison tracks with her. A friend of Khodorkovsky and William Browder. Actually, Browder is a person worth mentioning.
If you were to ask my friends to describe Bill Browder, me, in one sentence, the answer would be that I'm Putin's #1 enemy. Now that sounds very self-important, might sound a bit exaggerated, maybe even ridiculous, but when you're done hearing what I have to say, I think you'll conclude that that's the right description.
If he so desperately wants to show himself as Putin's enemy #1, maybe we should put an eye on him too. Second guess is most right. Some secret services left the tracks. But maybe it's too obvious to be true. In the Salisbury, for example, it's hard to believe British secret services took a role in the story, where they missed the poisoners, all of them to poison their own citizens, most important the defector, and let them get away. It's a reputational damage to Britain, not a game some country want to play on an official level. Maybe some third side exists in all this story, and that woman Maria Pevchikh might not be involved. Join in on a discussion. What do you think happened?